Hey foodies, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make an easy homemade spaghetti with a meat sauce. This is a super easy recipe to make, especially if you don't feel like spending hours in the kitchen. Not to mention, it's absolutely delicious and it can feed the whole family. All right, so let's get into the video. So here's everything that you're gonna need for this recipe. I have about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. You can use a little bit more if you'd like. I have basil leaves, thyme, oregano, and of course we have the seasoning. I'm gonna be using garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, crushed red pepper, adobo, complete seasoning, creole seasoning, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar. Then I have 2 jars of spaghetti sauce and 1 small can of Hunt sauce. Then we have 2 onions and about 6 garlic cloves and 3 bay leaves, and we have our spaghetti. Make sure you guys check the description box. I will be posting the full recipe and accurate measurements. All right, so first I'm gonna start off by chopping up the garlic. And if you know me, you already know I like to smash it with the back of my knife first just to release some of those oils and juices. And then I'm gonna go ahead and chop that finely. All right, so once I'm done chopping that up, I'm gonna go ahead and set that to the side, and we're gonna chop up 2 small onions. Now you can use 1 medium onion, but since I have small onions, I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 of those. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and roughly chop this because I don't mind big pieces of onions in my spaghetti. However, if you don't like onions like that, go ahead and chop that finely. So now that I'm done chopping up my vegetables, I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside, and I'm gonna turn my slow cooker on high. I'm gonna use a slow cooker for this. However, you can cook this stovetop as well. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 cans of sauce to my slow cooker. And then after I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up quarter way with water, and I'm gonna go ahead and shake that up, and I'm gonna pour that right in just to get out some of that excess pasta sauce that's just sitting in the jar. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up, and we're just gonna go ahead and let that simmer so we can get started on this ground beef. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little bit of oil to my pan, and I'm gonna add in those onions and the garlic. And you just wanna go ahead and stir that until that is translucent. Now once that has become translucent, I'm gonna go ahead and add in that ground beef. Now I only used 1.5 pounds of ground beef, but by all means, you can definitely add more. So at this point, I'm just gonna take my spoon and I'm just gonna break up that ground beef. And as you can see, I like to cook my ground beef first before adding in the seasoning. And I do that just to help ensure that the meat doesn't come out dry. At this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and mix that up. Once that's mixed, I'm gonna add about half of that to the ground beef. The other half is gonna go in with the sauce. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and give that a good stir. Make sure those seasonings are mixed in there well. And now we're gonna head over to our crock pot, and I'm gonna add in the remainder of that seasoning, as well as a tablespoon of thyme, and a tablespoon of basil, and a tablespoon of oregano. And let me tell you, that's gonna make this meat sauce really flavorful. Also guys, you can make this meat sauce on top of the stove. The only difference is after you ground the beef, you would add in the tomato sauce and add in the seasonings, and you would let that simmer for about an hour. So at this point, I'm gonna add in my 3 bay leaves and about 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar. And guys, don't look at me crazy because I added in the sugar. That's gonna cut down on the acidity, and it's gonna take away that sour taste. All right, so now I'm gonna add in the meat sauce, and then you're gonna go ahead and give that a good stir just to make sure that is incorporated in there well. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on this. And I'm gonna let this simmer for about 3 hours. Now you don't have to simmer this as long as me. You can simmer this for about 45 minutes. I just really like when those seasonings and herbs really marinate in that sauce and give off that great flavor. All right, so now let's move on to our spaghetti noodles. So I'm gonna go ahead and boil some water. Once that has reached a boil, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some oil, and we're gonna add in those spaghetti noodles. And I just use a spoon to bend these so they're fully submerged in the water. You also want to make sure you're stirring these periodically just to make sure they don't stick together. And you want to go ahead and boil these for about 10 minutes. But since I'm using angel hair pasta, I'm only going to boil this for about 4 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and drain this. And once it's drained, I'm going to go ahead and check on my spaghetti sauce. And this is what it looks like after 3 hours. As you can see, it's really sat and absorbed all of those seasonings and herbs. And let me tell you, this sauce was absolutely amazing. So now it's time to plate this. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my noodles to the bottom. And then we're gonna add that pasta sauce on top. However, if you want to, you can mix everything together and you can serve it that way. This is how I usually serve mine, but let me tell you, by the time I eat it, it always ends up everything being all mixed together anyways. I hope you guys enjoyed this easy recipe. If you did, be sure to leave me a comment below. Also, be sure to give this video a like. And if you're new and you like these type of videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post about 2 new recipes a week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.